I remember the Aussie tourist who was stranded in an Indian hospital. George Dobson fell on a mountain track and broke his spine, leaving him a quadriplegic. Well, his family has already paid $33,000 towards his medical treatment. Now, they're trying to raise at least $50,000 more to bring the 65-year-old home to Queensland. Public donations have gone past $25,000. The federal government says it can't help because the father of four did not have travel insurance.
So if that prompts you to think about travel insurance for your next trip, good. You shouldn't leave home without it. But which one do you choose? CANSTAR CANNEX has come up with the award winners. They've done all the work for us. Steve Mickenbecker is here to take us through it. Steve, manna from heaven. Different types of travel insurance. Talk insurance and it always seems really complicated. Take us through the different types that you've got to look at.
Well, there are three types of insurance. One is the international piece. Now, of course, you only need that when you're travelling overseas. Now, that includes things like your baggage, your cancellation costs, and of course, health. Health is just so important when you're overseas. Domestically, you don't need that. So it's really baggage and cancellation. Now, the good thing, though, is that the basic form of insurance can be a health only. So if you're a backpacker, you're travelling overseas 6 months, you don't really have solid plans, you don't have expensive baggage, you can just take medical cover.
Right.
And that's the important one. Don't leave home without your medical cover being right.
Because that's what obviously raised this in relation to George Dobson's problem. He's facing a huge bill to come home from India. So medical costs can be very, very steep.
Oh, massive. Look, the US is a very expensive place to insure for because the medical costs in the US can be massive. Now, you can have a health problem, a heart problem, for example, in the US, spend a couple of weeks in hospital and be up for $200,000 or $300,000.
But also, sometimes in the US, when you go into the hospital, they ask to see your insurance first before they'll admit you. So if you don't have the insurance, you're on your own.
Look, absolutely. You do not want to be ill over there and need emergency treatment if you're not covered. And your medical cover here will not cover you overseas.
And evacuations, huge.
Massive, yes, yeah. Look, every year, there are something like, some thousands of Australians hospitalised, 1,200 or something hospitalised overseas, and a lot are evacuated. There are 900 deaths overseas. I don't want to sound too grim. There are 6 million Australian trips, Australian travel trips overseas every year. So people enjoy themselves and don't get into trouble, but a lot of people do. And people assume it won't happen to me, but it might.
Well, it can be so simple. All right, you've done the work. Let's go through the winning insurers that you've got here for international travel.
Right, well, that's WorldCare and Southern Cross came up very strongly. Southern Cross, very, very attractive premiums, very good premiums, but still a well-featured product. Things like $2,000 unspecified item limits. So you can have a $2,000 item, you don't have to say what it is beforehand. You can cover up to $25,000 on baggage. The WorldCare product was actually the best featured product. So it really was a very strong featured product right across the board. Okay. So both very strong products, very good value for money.
Now, for medical insurance, an online company gets you going. That's pretty convenient as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Zuji have done extremely well, and WorldCare again has come up very strongly. Now, the thing about medical is that you will not get your baggage covered. You won't get your cancellation covered, but it does cover you for really both policies, unlimited overseas insurance cover. So, they're very strong cover. Now, again, with all these policies, read the fine print, make sure you're covered for the things you need. Think about any pre-existing medical ailments you might have, because you must make sure that you're covered for those.
So even if you've got them, as long as you declare them, are you okay? Because we've had people write in and say they can't get it because they've got diabetes or they've got something.
Yeah, there are issues, and different policies treat it differently. And that's why you must check your fine print, because you can't always get it. There are some conditions, and you just will not get it if you have some conditions. And pregnant ladies have to be careful. I mean, beyond 26 weeks, they won't get covered.
All right. And also domestic trips. A Queensland insurer shares the honours here. Yeah,
Suncorp did exceptionally well there, and again, WorldCare have done well. So again, they're very strong policies, featured very well, cover you for a lot of different things, and cancellations up to $3,000 or something, and $5,000 on baggage. So.
All right. Now, what about the places you're going to? Because DFAT on their website have all these different levels of warnings.
Yes.
Does your insurance cover you you know, if you're going to Baghdad as well as going to Barcelona?
No.
Right.
You will not get cover if you're going to Baghdad. As you say, there are two different levels of warning. Now, one is do not travel, and the Bagdads of this world are in that category. The next is a more low-level warning. Now, you can get cover for that, but some companies will cover you, some won't. What generally is the case, though, is that you will not be covered for terrorism. So if you're the victim of a terrorist attack while overseas, in particular where there's a warning, you won't be covered. But generally across the board, there's a very good chance you won't be covered.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mel.
Yeah,
Thanks for watching.
Appreciate it.